Sometimes the first step in building something new is learning how to clear what no longer serves, to walk among ruins with gentleness, not rushing to replace, but making space. I clear what is no longer needed. I make space for the new. Before dawn, I began the quiet work of clearing. The mud walls no longer needed are the first to go. They allowed me to build my first fire, and I am grateful. Around me, the ruin settles. Aged boards, rusted parts, broken crates, pieces of a life once lived. I gather what I can. Those boards are beautiful, strong and sturdy. With care, I will repurpose them as a floor of my own. The light grows around me, a new day. Behind me, the redwoods, tall, silent. Ahead, the bog, alive, thick with water and mud. Once ready, I head out. There are cattails to gather, enough to craft 3 chests for the supplies I'll soon be carrying. Sticks along the bank, dried grass, clay too, and maybe peat. Things I'll need. An owl circles overhead, too close. It watches for a moment, and then it moves on. I sensed a message there. Curious, I wondered. Still, I kept going. So many cattails. I will have no trouble getting the supply I need of these. I find the peat too, and the clay. I mark them on the map. The peat I will return for. The clay, I dig as much as I can carry. It's dense and workable. Good clay. The kind you can build with. Back at the shelter, I carefully weave together the cattails to craft new chests, and I line them along the new floor. One for food, one for stone, one for wood, and a few left open for whatever comes next. I stow my supplies from the swamp gratefully. Lighter now. I'm ready for the rest of the day. Clear a few more things around the mine entrance, and as I work, the deep calls to me, and I know that I must go down and see what's there. The fear I put off yesterday is waiting now. I descend slowly. The ladder feels old. I hope it will hold, and I tell myself it will hold. I keep going. At the bottom, quiet. A wide chamber and 4 corridors stretch into shadow. One glows green at the far end. That path, not today. I look down. There's stone everywhere. Loose rubble, shattered slabs, smooth pebbles stacked into corners. There is so much, all granite. I will have no trouble gathering a supply, and I gather quickly. The mine seems to go on and on, tunnels branching in every direction. There's no telling how far it stretches or what lies deeper still. I mark my way with what dirt I have, working to seal off caverns too. Who knows what dwells in those deep regions? The mine is rich with resources. I find veins of quartz, streaks of saltpeter, and even traces of silver. Earth layered with memory, waiting to be uncovered. I'm happy to discover mushrooms growing along the beams. Quiet, undisturbed, beautiful really. Some are safe, the reishi, thick and red. I pick them carefully. The others, pale caps, the kind they call funeral bells, I leave them behind. Oh, for a constant light source. That is something I will need, and soon. But thankful and protective of my torch in hand, I move through the dark. It's so dark. When my baskets are full, I climb back up, slowly, heavier now, and tired. I've worked through the night. 8 stacks of stone or more than I expected. Enough for a foundation, fireplaces, and maybe even a fence. Night has returned, but something feels different. I walk across the floor I laid that morning, place my findings into the chest, waiting. Above me, the sky opens wide. The rain continues, but the air, fresh, alive, is a welcome companion. Today, I have cleared and cleaned. I have gathered what I need. This is a good start. Somehow, I don't want to retreat under the shelter tonight. I allow the rain to wash away the grime from all of the day. I'm learning to let go of what no longer serves, to carry what only matters, to go into the dark and not to fight it, but to meet it with gentleness, and to return with what is good and leave the rest behind. Maybe you're there too, somewhere between wait and wonder, somewhere in the ruin, repurposing what was left behind, laying new foundations, and finding something beautiful beneath it all.